is up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Limited Resources. This episode number 802. My name is Marshall. I'm one of your Limited Resources, and joining me on the line all the way from Denver, Colorado, it's Luis Scott-Vargas. Luis, welcome back. How was your trip?
It wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. We went to scenic downtown Syracuse to the TCG player headquarters. That was pretty cool. Got to meet a bunch of coworkers I'd never met before and a bunch of folks who I hadn't seen in a long time, just sort of former CFB guys or folks like Reed, who's on the PT team. And it was cool. It was nice to get out of the house.
Did you build many teams?
Oh, we did so many team buildings. I played my first couple of games of the new Star Wars game, or relatively new, a couple years old at this point. I don't know how old, but and that was cool. That was fun, and played some games of Yu-Gi-Oh. So got
nice.
kind of stomped. That was fun too. So yeah, no, it was good times.
Did anybody fail the trust fall? It was Reed, wasn't it? He let you fall to the ground, didn't he? Reed did.
No, it was James. You remember James from CFP?
Oh, I know James. Yeah. Not to be trusted under any circumstance. Well, that's good. We're happy to have you back, Luis, and glad your trip went well. We're going to be doing our Tarkir Dragonstorm draft walkthrough this week on the show. It is that time where instead of a mere crack-a-pack where you only get to see pack one, pick one, and the discussion that creates, you get to see the whole draft this time. So we're going to be doing an entire premier draft and an entire traditional draft today on the show. I'll be walking you through it using my voice for people that are listening to podcast only. But if you're either watching on YouTube or you'd like to see the picks and get, that full picture of what the pack looks like, we'll call out the relevant cards as we go. But sometimes, you want to see the cards that maybe weren't as relevant or maybe you thought were relevant. You can view them on our YouTube channel, which there's a link to the description below. All of our episodes of the show go up there, but these ones are the ones that, are kind of particularly good for viewing. So yes, that is what we're doing today. Before we get into it, we want to say thank you to each and every person who supports us on our Patreon. Patreon's a website that you can use to support your favorite content creators. For many content creators, including us, it's kind of the backbone, right, of how the shows continue to exist. When it comes to sponsorship stuff, it can kind of come and go. You never really know. You're kind of at the whims of the companies and the markets and things like that. But with Patreon, it can help you get a more solid base that you could use then to grow from and to maintain from. And that's what we use Patreon for as well. So thank you very much to everybody who supports us. I know it may not seem like such a big deal on your end, but it's a big deal to us, and we really appreciate it. It's patreon.com/limited resources if you'd like to check that out. We're also brought to you by Ultimate Guard. They make the best stuff in the business. And by stuff, I mean ways to protect your cards, your decks, and your collection. And whatever it is you need, if you just have one deck, you're just starting out in Magic, you can get yourself a deck box and some sleeves and you'll be good to go. If you're a veteran collector, you can find binders and other ways to organize your entire collection. I mean, these cards are valuable, right? Especially if you've been playing for a while, your collection's probably worth quite a bit, and it's definitely worth protecting, and you need the best to do so. Ultimate Guard is the place to go. You can check out their full line of products at ultimateguard.com. And if you want to buy anything, you can find it at your favorite local game store or your favorite online retailer. Thank you, Ultimate Guard. We do appreciate it. Oh, Luis, I forgot to do to grab our Patreon question of the week. Let me get that. I knew I forgot something. Tell me a story while I get this, Luis. Sorry to put you on the spot. Okay. Yeah. Just like, how was your thing? Like, have you drafted lately? Anything? Oh, maybe I can actually pull one from this. So, Luis, while you were gone, I did an AMA.
Oh, I heard about that. I was looking at the comments. That was cool.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. But it's a little, I like doing the show with you better. let's just say that.
Good. Yeah. Well, that sounds like a great plan. All right. I'll tell you a little story. We're, looking to do some landscaping. That's why I was telling you and Jeff, I was talking to landscapers, because we actually just kind of don't want to water grass anymore. It's like a lot of water, kind of a lot of effort, a lot of waste in some ways. Like, I mean, if you have your lawn, I guess that's fine. You can choose how to use your resources how you will. But we're looking to do like a kind of desert scaping, zero scaping with very like low water plants and stuff like that. I'm kind of excited. I think that'll be pretty cool.
Oh, that's cool. Is it going to look nice?
Yeah, that's the idea.
Like they can make it look really good. Like, cause grass looks really nice, but like you said, it's very resource intensive. I know some people just throw a bunch of gravel out there or whatever. That's not the best looking.
Well, our plan is not to just throw a bunch of gravel out either, but yes, it is, I think, going to be pretty cool. And we'll see how it turns out. We haven't like figured out exactly what we're going to do yet.
All right, I got a question from Jean-Luc. It actually was for the AMA, but it came in after I recorded it. So it says, do you ever worry about the longevity of Magic as part of your livelihood depends on it? That's a great question.
Well, yeah, it's interesting. So both you and I have at various times had a lot more, like it waxes and wanes, right? How much we depend on Magic specifically for what we do. Like, right now, you know, you've got the podcast, you do coverage, those things are important, but your YouTube watch channel is also quite important. And if Magic ceased to exist or you didn't want to do any of this stuff anymore, you'd be fine. And, you know, that's probably a pretty good feeling because you've kind of diversified your risk, as it were. For me, I've had times where like, it has been not a big part of like it's always been a part of my professional life because I've always had stuff, you know, Magic as part of what I do. But part of why I went into game design a bunch of years ago was so I'd have an off ramp in case I didn't want to do Magic stuff anymore or it just wasn't feasible or whatever. You know, like you can't really tell the future. So yes, it's something I'm concerned with in the sense that like I'm aware that it could happen and have to make plans to make sure that we don't end up in a spot where it's like, yep, the one thing you were relying on stopped working. But it also is, it would suck either way. Like I would be pretty unhappy if Magic ceased to exist because I love Magic first and foremost, but also because, yeah, I mean, we do the podcast, I've got a YouTube channel, my work for TCG players involves Magic. I'm pretty highly leveraged on Magic right now, but I also have, you know, I think a pretty solid resume as a game designer. So I'm not that concerned. And there's a lot of other games. I could also switch to playing other games, which wouldn't be the end of the world, but yeah, I love Magic. So I don't think it's going anywhere. That's the other thing. It doesn't appear to me that it's going anywhere. Yeah.
I think that the two things that come to mind, one related to what you just said is all the things that you said, about, you know, having a good resume and stuff. The other thing that you get from Magic, especially from being kind of deep in it for this long, is you have a great network. Right. I mean, you know, people that work across not just game design, but also a lot of other industries, and they all know who you are. They all know what kind of person you are, you know, what kind of work you do. And that gives you, you know, tremendous leverage to go into a different field if you needed to because of, you know, what you've put into Magic. So I think there's that. And then, you know, the other thing is, it is interesting because I often think in those terms about like, because I mean, it feels like every 6 months somebody says Magic's dead, right? It's been like that for 15 years, you know, that people are like, oh, this
way longer. People have always said that.
Yeah.
Year 3 of Magic. Wow. This, you know, Ice Age sucks. The Magic is gonna die or whatever.
Right.
They overprinted Fallen Empires.
Right, exactly. And there's been people saying that ever since. And it's become a meme at this point. And even though, you know, you don't want to overlook there have been mistakes, there have been things that damage it. There have been, you know, things like that. But, you know, I always think in terms that like, even if Wizards ceased to exist, that Magic would keep going. Now that would affect, you know, our careers in a significant way. Like, this podcast, for example, is kind of built off the news cycle of new sets coming out for us to draft and people wanting to get good at them and understand them and break them down. And so that's, you know, since we're doing that anyway, because we want to get good at them and break them down, we just make that public. But
look, they can't stop me from cubing.
Yeah, exactly. We would probably just shift to become a more cube-centric format. But because I don't think that
we would have plenty of listeners if we just switched to a podcast of us just hanging out and talking about stuff, which is partially what a big part of what LR is to begin with, which is awesome. That's why I look forward to this every week. So
totally.
Obviously it's important as we're going to go through these drafts today to help people get better at draft and kind of level up. And, you know, that's a huge appeal of the show as well. But a lot of the reason I know that people listen to us is because it's fun to hang out with folks that you like, and that's what this is. So
they come here to hear you make fun of me. Let's just be realistic here, right?
I mean, it could be arranged, is all I'm saying.
Give the people what they want.
If new sets stop being printed, yeah, we'd have to figure out what that means and what we wanted to do. But I don't know. I think a big part of both of our careers, lives, your plans in general is just trying to make it so you're resilient to the unknowns that happen in the world. There's just a lot of them, And I think that you can never have total security. Like there's some professions which seem pretty secure. Our friend Pat's a mechanical engineer.
Yeah.
The demand for those doesn't seem like it's going to go down. But I don't know, especially with like the advent of AI and all that stuff, there's a lot of unknowns in the world. And the best you can do is like have plans so you have different places to pivot to, try to save money or put yourself in a good financial situation so you can go without, like if you were unemployed for some amount of time, and just overall just trying to stay on top, stay active, and stay kind of engaged with the world. Don't get too set in a pattern so that you're able to even mentally switch to doing something else as well.
Yeah, because it's funny because as much as it's people talk about being kind of connected to a company as being a big risk, they're right. It is. Luis just outlined why. In our case for Wizards, but even in my case, like YouTube, like Google, right? Like I have a YouTube channel.
We have no control over what they do, right?
Like they can do whatever they want.
They could just say, hey, you don't make money anymore, and be like, damn, that sucks.
Yeah, totally. They could flip the switch, or they could make it half and say this is a business decision that we felt that we needed to make, and they could say, deal with it. Like there's nothing, and these are risks that we take, but there are also upsides. And if you're careful about, who you hitch your wagon to, there can be big upsides too. Like, in Wizards case, like I trust them in the sense that I know the people that work there and they're really good people who really care about this game and this product and this community. Now they are under a particular umbrella of being owned by a publicly held company that demands constant growth. And that can lead to things that, maybe are a little more short-term gain type stuff. And so, that's a risk that we have to take. But I mean, at the same time, like I can think of a lot worse places to hitch your wagon to. And frankly, that's the same for Google. These huge companies are kind of their own entities at this point, and not really comparable to something like a Wizards of the Coast, but at least for the existence of Google so far, we haven't seen any of these huge heel turns where you're just like, oh, this is just a big evil corporation that wants to suck everybody dry. I mean, people might not know it, but a good example is YouTube. If you have a YouTube channel and you serve ads on your channel, which they all kind of do, the creator gets 70% of the ad revenue from that. Like, I feel like Google could probably just say it's going to be 50 now, and they don't really have a strong competitor that could come in and be like, hey, we're going to scoop that up. But they don't, because they understand the fundamentals, that they want to make sure that the people that are created on their platform continue to do so and thrive. And, so it's not the worst. But that's a great question, John Luke. Thanks for asking it. And yes, that is something that we think about and talk about quite often. You just have to if you're in this space that we're in. Okay, Luis, Premier Draft first sound good?
Yeah, let's do it.
Where are you at on the format?
I haven't been playing as much. Like I'm kind of waning on that. Like, honestly, my favorite thing to draft in the format is like drafting just straight Jeskai or like straight Teamer, straight Sultai. And the 5-color soup, it was fun initially, as people kind of predicted and said, but it happens at a bit higher of a rate than I would like. So I think the format's good. It's lost a bit of its luster for me, I will admit.
That's for me too. It's interesting. It's I had like a particularly busy week this week, but I only got to draft a couple of times. And normally, I would have like had 5 or 6 drafts even on a busy week. Kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, our first pack is up. Pack 1, pick 1, and we got a mythic rare, Call the Spirit Dragons. That's the Wooburg enchantment that makes your dragons even better somehow. There's also a Static Snare, a 100 battle veteran, a Shocking Sharpshooter, a Dragon Sniper at uncommon. At common, what do we have here? Our land is a Dismal Backwater. There's a Salt Road Pack Beast, an Unending Whisper. Am I missing anything here? Sultai
Not really. Devotee. I mean, this pack is pretty weak. It's pretty hard to not just take Static Snare here.
That's what I'm thinking too.
It's a very solid removal spell, fits in a bunch of different decks. Call the Spirit Dragons is not a 0. It looked really bad in the set review. Obviously, the format is in a place where like you could play that card. I have lost to it before. I don't think it's a very good card to start with, but some decks would play it.
It feels like the globe is just like a much, much better version of this, where like you get a benefit for your dragons that's relevant, but it actually helps you cast them and do all the things. All right, so we'll take Static Snare, pack 1, pick 1. Pack 1, pick 2, we've got Alchemist Assistant, Fleeting Effigy, Inspirited Vanguard, and Frontline Rush as our uncommons. Our commons, Sibsig Appraiser.
I mean, Sibsig Appraiser is really good. So here, Marshall, I'm going to need you to be honest here. If we weren't on the show, if we weren't here, you would just take the Sibsig Appraiser out of this pack. Right?
100% of the time. But you're going to tell me to take Frontline Rush or something, aren't you?
Well, I'm not going to tell you to take Frontline Rush, but I am going to say, okay, let's do it then. Let's just get in there.
Yeah, let's try it. I really never draft this deck. I know that it's like the best performing, but I feel like it's in an awkward spot where people have figured that out too. And I just never, ever, ever want to be the person who's fighting for the 2-color deck in a 4-color format and then it's taken. Just like I can't do it. But you're totally right. I would have taken Appraiser.
And start red white. Let's just push ourselves a little bit.
I like this.
And see. Well, look, there we go. Pick 3. There's Dracogenesis as the mythic. That's not really going to do much. There's Salt Road Skirmish as a kind of mediocre removal spell at uncommon. That's the 4-mana destroy a creature and make 2 1/1s. Then there's Zergo's Vanguard, Adeline at home at uncommon. So 2 and a red for a X3, mobilize 1, and makes its powers as big as the number of creatures you control, which I think is going to be the pick. There's also a Jeskai Shrinekeeper, the Jeskai uncommon dragon that hits them and draws a card, which is great. Coordinated Maneuver, another Sibsig Appraiser, and Evolving Wilds.
You sure you don't want to just show great cowardice and take one of the blue cards here? Are you sure you don't want to?
No. Zergo's Vanguard. Let's take the Zergo's Vanguard.
Okay. Take a deep breath. I can do this.
Yeah, we hopefully we'll get some Mardu devotees, the nuts, and we'll be able to to really.
I do lose to this deck constantly, by the way, so it's I know deck. It's good.
And we're starting with 3 solid uncommons now.
Yeah.
To kind of give us a reason to play it. That said, this pack, so it has Duty Beyond Death, which is only good in this kind of deck, though I don't think we're going to take it because there's a Mystic Monastery, and that's a red-white tap land that also gives us outs to play Jeskai, which I think is totally fine.
Yeah.
There is also a Dispelling Exhale, a Coordinated Maneuver, a Storm Shriek Pharaoh, a Sagu Wildling, and a green-white land of Blossoming Sand. So it seems like a pretty clear Mystic Monastery, which probably would have been the pick even if we had taken any of the blue cards over the last couple of picks.
How dare you disrespect the Ice Ridge Serpent sitting right here? I mean, it almost looks like a dragon.
Yeah, you're just never taking Ice Ridge Serpent over Dispelling Exhale, I don't think.
Never. You can get Serpents really late. It's a solid card. I still play it, but you can just get it 10th. All right, pack 1, pick 5. Kishla Trawlers, Erishin Sunshield, Poised Practitioner, Unending Whisper. There's a Windscarred Crag. There's also an Evolving Wilds. What is this one again? Oh, that guy.
I suspect that at this point, Windscarred Crag is still better than Evolving Wilds.
I think so too.
Like it's not crazy to want to take Evolving Wilds because, when you don't know exactly what colors you're going to be, it can give you a little bit of flexibility. But I think that the land is going to be so much more powerful. Okay,
so we've got Frontline Rush, Zergo's Vanguard, Static Snare, Mystic Monastery, and now we're going to take Windscarred Crag. That's our 5th pick. So this will bring us to pack 1, pick 6, where we see Bewildering Blizzard. There's also a Coordinated Maneuver, Agent of Codis. What is this? Meticulous Artisan. There's a Boulderborn Dragon. Is it just a maneuver?
It comes down to Coordinated Maneuver versus Blizzard. I would take Coordinated Maneuver. I still don't think we have a reason to not be red-white. Blue is clearly open. But red and white also seem pretty clearly open. Like we've got a couple premium uncommons. We got some red-white lands. I don't really see a reason to move off of this plan, and I think we should stay the course. But
I think so too. So we'll take Coordinated Maneuver. That's, again, pack 1, pick 6. So we're 6 picks in. We do have 2 lands. Our mana is looking pretty good. Next up, there's a Twin Bolt and an Underfoot Underdogs in red. There's no white cards. Blue, there's a Focus the Mind. Green, there's a Snakeskin Veil, Rite of Renewal. There is a corroding Dragonstorm and an Abzan Devotee in black.
I think here, I'm not a big underfoot underdogs fan. I don't think it would be unreasonable to take Focus the Mind, because you could still just be Jeskai. Like, the only card that is, like, Zurgo's Vanguard's not going to be at its best, but the rest of the cards are going to play fine in your Jeskai deck. So I think that's a reasonable consideration to make.
Okay. We'll take Focus the Mind. Pack 1, pick 8, right before our wheel, we've got Starry-Eyed Skyrider. That's the 1/3 flyer that jumps another creature when it attacks. A Rebellious Strike. There is a Meticulous Artisan, but the Skyrider's decent. Right?
Yeah, Starry-Eyed Skyrider is great. Yeah. Really good with Zurgo's Vanguard. So again, I mean, getting that 8th pick is really nice. It does feel like we're in a good spot here.
I think so too.
I know that there was there was a lot of tempting blue, and I think left to our own devices, we probably would have done more of that. But I still think it worked out really nicely.
Pack 1, pick 9. So this is our wheel pack. We got an underfoot underdogged back, but this pack is weak overall. There's an Unending Whisper, a couple of black cards that we don't like, Reputable Merchant, and a Dismal Backwater. So nothing much here. I would just take the underdogs.
Yeah, the underdogs is. I mean, look, we didn't give up much by not taking it, right?
Right, so, and this is where you want it, right? You want to pick it up 9th, 10th, something like that. All right, there's a Tempest Hawk, pack 1, pick 10. Should we try to live that particular dream?
Wild Ride and Devoted Duelist. I think I would just take Devoted Duelist just to have a 2-drop.
Okay, yeah, I like that. Our curve, we don't have any two-mana creatures just yet. We do have 2-drops, but they're not really cards you want to play on 2, so.
I mean,
take the Duelist.
I mean, Frontline Rush effectively is a 2-mana creature.
Oh, yeah, that's true. That's true. The Draco Genesis Wield, pack 1, pick 11. There's also a Wild Ride. Yeah, I'll just take a Wild Ride here. You may cast dragon spells without paying their mana cost for the low price of 8 mana. Okay, and then we've got pack 1, pick 12, a Seize Opportunity and a Blossoming Sands. There's also an Alesha's Legacy.
Oh, Seize Opportunity is not a 0. I mean, it's not,
hopefully doesn't
I tend to play very often.
Yeah. But. And then pack 1, pick 13, we got an Eris and Sunshield. And then we got one more card to go. So right now we've got Wild Ride, Coordinated Maneuver, Devoted Duelist, Frontline Rush, Starry-Eyed Skyrider, Seize Opportunity, Underfoot Underdogs, Zurgo's Vanguard, Eris and Sunshield, Static Snare, Focus the Mind, and then 2 lands. Our last card was Reputable Merchant, which isn't going to make the cut. Okay, so pack 2, pick 1, United Battlefront. Interesting. There's a Constrictor Sage, Lightfoot Technique. There's a Stormplane Detainment in white. And there's also, hello, friendo, a Molten Exhale down here. All
right. I mean, Molten Exhale is going to be a great start regardless. Obviously, you hope to open a nice rare, but I think this is what we want. And what's nice about Molten Exhale is it also kind of hedges a little between control and aggro, where if we end up in a more mid-rangey deck, it's still going to be fine to play.
Yeah. Yeah, Molten Exhale's it's a funny one because every time I see it, I'm just relieved. You know, I'm like, okay, cool. Like, don't have to think anymore. There is in blue cards here, there was a Karakit Guardian. Okay, next up, pack 2, pick 2. There's a Wayspeaker Bodyguard at the uncommon slot. There's also a Shocking Sharpshooter. In white, there is a Salt Road Pack Beast. There's also a Riling Dawnbreaker, Summit Intimidator, and another Seized Opportunity.
I mean, this is a really easy Shocking Sharpshooter. That card's awesome. It's a big kind of incentive to being in a red-white aggro deck. It's a 2-drop. It does a lot of damage. It's exactly what you're looking for. So this is a really nice pickup.
Okay. Do you like the Bodyguard?
And if we're lucky, we'll get a pick. Do I like the Bodyguard?
Yeah.
Not really, no.
Okay. I know the Salt Road Pack Beast is a nice one in a deck like this too.
That would have been my second pick here, but I think it's an easy sharpshooter.
Okay.
I mean, you might wheel a mediocre red or white card out of this pack, which is nice. I mean, one of the things that's nice about being in this deck is you're not competing with people for a lot of the things that are in the packs. Like there's a lot of these like red white aggro cards are pretty easy to get. Ooh, this pack has a Narset, the 3/4 for Jeskai mana. That lets you discard your hand to draw 2 cards equal number of spells you've cast. There's Rally the Monastery, the uncommon that gets cheaper and does a bunch of different things. There's a Stormplane Detainment, a Fleeting Effigy, and Nothing else that's particularly exciting to us. There's a Dragonclaw Strike and a Karu Goldkeeper, but I'm a pretty big Rally the Monastery fan.
Same.
So that's likely what I would do. I would just be rallying the Monastery.
That's what I would do too. I do like a Stormplane Detainment, but the Monastery is quite strong, and it can certainly change combat math very, very quickly. So we'll take that. Next up, Loxodon Battle Priest. That's the 5-mana 3/5 that gives you a counter at the beginning of
that card has always been quite mediocre for and against me.
For and against, yeah. There's a Poise Practitioner. There is another Tempest Hawk here, and there's a Jeskai Devotee in our colors. I
think that I'm just in for probably Jeskai Devotee.
Just a 2-ball.
Not a big Tempest Hawk enjoyer. Yeah, it's a 2-ball that can attack for a little bit more. You could take Sonic Shrieker here, and if you picked up the correct fixing, it would work out.
I'll do that. I'll go for the upside. These other cards are just so mediocre.
I'm fine taking upside picks.
Whoa, pack 2,
just get pick 2 drops are nice.
What? We just got a Static Snare, pack 2, pick 5.
Oh, nice. Yes, that is sick.
What the? Why are you here? Love that. We pack 1, pick 1, that thing.
Yeah. Huh. No, it's a nice little reward for being in white here.
It's like a reward. All right. Other cards in the pack too. Yeah, there's a Shock Brigade is what I was going to say. Reverberating Summons, not so much. There's a Riling Dawnbreaker, the poor dragon that nobody likes. Interesting. Pack 2, pick 6. There's another Narset Jeskai Waymaster there. There's also a Jeskai Monument, a Lightfoot Technique, and a Wild Ride.
Oh, I would just take Jeskai Monument. I think the monuments are awesome, and with Jeskai Monument and Mystic Monastery, splashing blue could be pretty easy.
Mm-hmm. Right now, we just have Focus the Mind, but yeah,
Evolving Wilds is also legit.
It is because if we do go Sonic Shrieker,
yeah,
let's just go with the Monument.
I would probably just take the Monument. I just think it's a strong enough card that it's worth doing. Evolving Wilds is also nice, even if we go Jeskai, just because it's like a turn 1 play.
Mm-hmm.
And this deck's going to have a lot of
7
already.
Lightfoot Technique, Ice Ridge Serpent, Jeskai Devotee, Seize Opportunity. I'm just going to take the Devotee here.
Yeah, this is a good opportunity to pick that up.
Yeah, just another 2-drop. The blue splash has gotten very easy. Here's an interesting one.
Yeah.
This pack's interesting. So pack 2, pick 8, it has a Channeled Dragonfire, which is underperformed, but is still decent. There's a Jeskai Brushmaster, which would go okay in this deck, but there's also just a Salt Road Pack Beast. I think I would just take that guy.
Yeah, I would definitely pack Beast here. I have found Channeled Dragonfire to be kind of weak in this format.
It's a little mediocre.
And I think that the Pack Beast is really nice. We could use more cheap creatures as always. That's why I'm glad we picked up that late Jeskai Devotee.
Yeah. Pack 2, pick 9, our wheel pack. United Battlefront, of course, wheeled. There's a Lightfoot Technique. I don't think we're playing any cards out of this pack.
I mean, United Battlefront's not a playable card, but Lightfoot Technique, when you're going to take it, it's just you're not going to play it almost ever. All
right, well, Salt Road pack piece number 2 or Way Speaker Bodyguard number 1.
Okay, so now that the second Pack Beast has wheeled, I feel like, and we have like Zergo's Vanguard, I feel like we have a lot of incentive to just pick up cheap creatures. So Mardu Devotee would be nice, but
yes, cheap and mobilized.
Fleeting Effigy is actually not that bad. So there's a Fleeting Effigy. One of the Narsets came back, and Rebellious Strike and Delta Bloodflies. But I kind of like the Effigy. And if you have Flurry cards, it does basically help you trigger them every turn.
There's another Jeskai Devotee, pack 2, pick 12. Also the Tempest Hawk, but we're not going to live that dream. Hey, this is good. Yeah, so maybe just a couple of more good mobilize creatures coming pack 3. And I think we'd be in pretty good shape here. I'm going to read what we have right now. We've got Fleeting Effigy, Wild Ride, Coordinated Maneuver, 2 Lightfoot Technique, because we just picked up 1, Devoted Duelist, 2 Jeskai Devotee, a Molten Exhale, a Shocking Sharpshooter, Frontline Rush, Jeskai Monument currently, a Starry-Eyed Skyrider, Seize Opportunity, Underfoot Underdogs, which actually looks pretty good now. Zergo's Vanguard, Arishan Sunshield, Rally the Monastery, 2 Static Snare. We do have a Focus the Mind and a Sonic Shrieker. We have 2 Salt Road Pack Beasts and then the 2 lands. Pack 3, pick 1. Avenger of the Fallen in black. In blue, there's Ireni's Rebuff. Then there's also Unrooted Ancestor, Lion Weight, and nothing else for us at the uncommon. But there is a Shock Brigade and a Salt Road Pack Beast here. I guess I'll go with the Shock Brigade. Kind of lost Luis there for a second.
Yeah.
Are you back?
Just an easy Shock Brigade.
Okay, cool. I took the Shock Brigade, but I couldn't hear you. So I was like, well, I hope he likes that.
For sure.
Okay.
No, I think it was a really easy Shock Brigade. It would be nice if that Pack Beast came back, but you're just there's no upper limit to how many like Shock Brigades and Sharpshooters you want.
Right. And we already have 2 Pack Beasts, and it just feels like the first brigade so much better than the 3rd Pack Beast. Next pack, another Jeskai Devotee, maybe a Loxodon Battle Priest if we are interested.
I might just Evolving Wilds. The Jeskai Devotees seem like they're just going to come around the table.
Yeah,
this is a pretty weak pack. You're not very happy with this. I don't want the Battle Priest though.
Pack sucks.
That card.
All right, pack 3, pick 3.
Oh, this pack is nice.
Ooh, Delcoven Pack Beast. That's already good. Oh, and a Mardu Devotee also.
It has to be the Pack Beast, though. You're not playing 3 colors at this point, or very unlikely. And even if you do, your mana is going to be pretty good. Like, you've got some good fixing. The Pack Beast is so good with...
It's unbeatable.
Well, the other Pack Beast.
Yes. Pack Beast. I guess we're just playing Pack Beast aggro. God, I really hope we wheel that Salt Road.
Yeah, that would be really nice.
And we have a chance. We saw our others late, so... Delcoven Pack Beast, though, is coming in. Mardu Devotee, we're sorry. We did ask for you to show up, and then we didn't pick you. So it's a little rude of us, but sorry. Yeah. All right, pack 3, pick 4. Mardu Monument.
It's just all Simic cards.
Twin Bolt. What is going on here? This is terrible pack for us. Do we just take Twin Bolt?
I would take Mardu Monument.
Mardu Monument, sure.
Mardu Monument's really, really good. So
it is. Maybe
you play like with the Evolving Wilds, you could play like a Swamp, a Mardu Monument, and the Shrieker, the Sonic Shrieker, and then that's like enough of your Black Splash, especially if we do get like a 5th pick Devotee or something along those lines.
Okay, yeah, I'm kind of interested. And then I guess we would just cut the Focus the Mind and the Jeskai Monument.
Yeah, I don't think at this point we're that likely to play those cards anyway.
Yeah. Okay, pack 3, pick 5. Wow, these packs really dried up on us quickly. There's only 2 on-color cards, and they're Summon Intimidator and Rescue Leopard.
Neither of those are particularly exciting. I wouldn't say.
Like? Yeah. I guess I'll take the Rescue Summon Intimidator.
Yeah, that seems fun.
Maybe I'll just take a Salt Road Skirmish, actually. There's just no way I'm playing either of these 2 red cards, and maybe if we splash
You're
back.
not really going to play the Salt Road Skirmish either.
Windcrag Siege. Fortress Kinguard. No, that one's all right. There's also a Narcissus
I feel like you have enough 2-drops with the 2 Jeskai Devotees. Windcrag Siege making a token every turn is pretty good.
Yeah.
If you ever end up in a spot where you have like a Delcoven Pack Beast and like another mobilized card, you might actually just choose the Mardu mode of the Siege, though you're going to choose Jeskai like 9 out of 10 times. Yeah, Windcrag Siege is fine.
God, I want that other Salt Road Pack Beast so bad now. Next up, Devoted Duelist? Sure. I mean, there's also a Tempest Hawk. Yeah, I mean, whatever. There's nothing. There's Tempest Hawk, Devoted Duelist, and Summit Intimidator here. Wow, pack 3 has been a bit of a flop.
Yeah, well, not a great pack for sure. Pick up 1 Shock Brigade, and then that was about it. I mean,
all right, pack 3, pick 8. By the way, there's been 20 Tempest Hawks. I want to point that out.
Yeah, but it's just not very good. This pack does have a defibrillating current, so that's the Mardu Sorcery deal 4 gain 2. I think that's pretty reasonable. Even if it costs red, white 2, it's still an okay card. And
it is.
I guess I don't mind it. So yeah, this looks like a solid deck. Pack Beast did not wheel.
Oh, that was out of this pack? No. I wanted that Pack Beast. The next one could have the Mardu Devotee, though, right?
Devotee? I think it's two picks from now, but yeah.
Okay. We're going to take Lightfoot Technique. There's a Rebellious Strike. So basically, there's just not much coming here in the later part. Rebellious Strike will probably make the cut, though. Let's see what pack 3, pick 11 brings us. A Bone Cairn Butcher. Sure.
Yeah.
Is this a card you would splash for?
Typically no, but if you've got, if you're lacking playables or have enough fixing, it's fine.
Okay. And then the pack 3, pick 12, pick 13 are just nothings. I guess, well, there's a Fortress Kinguard last pick. Like, that actually might make it. We're so token heavy or token dependent here that actually might be a fine too. All right, so let's take a look at our build here. Right now, we've got 17 creatures and a curve that's very, very, very heavy on 2s. So I'll read what we've got, and then we'll go through and start cutting stuff. I think the first question, Luis, is do we want to splash for black here? Right now, we've got Bone Cairn Butcher, Sonic Shrieker, Salt Road Skirmish as actual black cards. And then we also have the option for the Defibrillating Current as a black / maybe not black splash. And then we have the Mardu Monument.
My inclination here is to play black for just Sonic Shrieker, because I think off of one swamp, one Evolving Wilds, and a Mardu Monument, it's not crazy to do that. And
what about the current?
Sonic Shrieker's, yeah, I would say I just treat current as a card you can just cast for red and white mana, and then
we have 10 cuts.
The other two black cards.
Yeah.
Well, you also have like a Wild Ride and 3 Lightfoot Techniques in that you could pretty easily trim down on probably all of those.
Right. So let's kill the Wild Ride. We've got Fleeting Effigy. There's Coordinated Maneuver. Fortress Kinguard, I think we should just play it. That was literally last pick of the last pack. Lightfoot Technique, I think we just play none of those.
Yeah, I don't think you need Lightfoot Technique or Rebellious Strike, really. And you have enough 2s that you can probably cut some of these Devoted Duelists as well.
Yeah, I'll cut one of them for now, and then we'll see what our curve looks like. 2 Jeskai Devotee, Molten Exile, Shock Brigade, Shocking Sharpshooter, Frontline Rush, Mardu Monument. That all seems good. Dalkovan Pack Beast, Starry-Eyed Skyrider, Seize Opportunity. Can I cut that? Or should I
You can definitely
play
cut Seize Opportunity.
I'll put it in the
I
maybe
think this deck's
pile.
going to want to play 16 land, just to keep that in mind.
Okay, good to know. Underfoot Underdog, Zergo's Vanguard, Wildcrag Siege, and then Defibrillating Current. And then we've got Arison Sunshield. Do we want to kill that?
Also potentially cuttable, yeah.
Okay, I'll put it in the maybe pile. And then Rally the Monastery, 2 Static Snare, the Shrieker, and then the 2 Pack Beast. And then currently we have 17 lands with 2 swamps. The Mystic Monastery, I guess, makes the cut as a duel. We have the Windscarred Crag and the Evolving Wild, and then the 2 swamps. So the swamps are fetchable by the Monument or the Evolving Wilds, or of course we could just draw one. If I cut the Seize Opportunity and the Sun Shield, that would leave us at 40. So if we want to cut one land, we could keep like the Seize Opportunity, for example.
Yeah, I think that this is a decent spot for it.
Okay.
And I'd probably cut a swamp is my guess.
And just run the 1 swamp.
You'll just have Sonic Shrieker in hand, and some amount of the time you won't be able to cast it, but I think that's okay.
Yeah. Okay. Well, this deck is Fleeting Effigy at the 1. At 2s, we've got Coordinated Maneuver, Fortress Kinguard, Devoted Duelist, 2 Jeskai Devotee, a Molten Exhale, a Shock Brigade, a Shocking Sharpshooter, a Frontline Rush, and a Mardu Monument. 3s, we've got the Dalkovan Pack Beast, the Starry-Eyed Skyrider, the Seize Opportunity did make the cut here, Underfoot Underdogs, Zergo's Vanguard, Windcrag Siege, and Defibrillating Current. There's a lot of power there. At the 4-drop, we only have 1. It's Rally the Monastery. At 5, we have 2 Static Snare, but remember those often get cast for less than the 5. And then we have the Sonic Shrieker as kind of our big high end, because our others are 2 6-drops technically, but they're both Salt Road Pack B, so those are going to be cast for less mana than 6 most of the time. And then lands, we've got 6 plains, 6 mountains, 1 swamp, 1 Evolving Wilds, 1 Windscarred Crag, and a Mystic Monastery. This is kind of sweet deck, huh?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, one thing that's kind of nice is we didn't open or see any like really ridiculous rares or anything like that. So
yeah,
this deck I think is going to be a good deck to be in given that. Like there are definitely some decks that you would you'd be pretty unhappy. Like if you're trying to draft a 5-color deck, let's say we had gone that direction, a 5-color deck with no rares is a pretty tough place to go. So
for sure.
I think that it's kind of nice that this deck got to kind of just make use of, if you're going to have an all common and uncommon deck, I guess there is a Windcrag Siege. That card is a rare, sure. It's pretty weak rare, so I barely count it. But a red-white deck is almost assuredly where you'd want to go. A red-white deck full of all commons and uncommons is much better relative to other decks than a 5-color deck with the same.
Yeah. Also, our uncommon count is quite high, it feels, right? Like we've got a lot of uncommons here. So even though we didn't hit that like peak rare, we've got a lot of really strong individual cards. As I was reading through this, we have some that are kind of stinkers, but we got the Sharpshooter, the Pack Beast is nice. The Skyrider's good. The Vanguard, like these are all kind of heavy hitters, right? Rally the Monastery, Current, Shrieker, Snare, like these are all uncommons. We've got a lot of them. So what do you think this deck would go?
In
like your hands.
7 wins?
Yeah. Not in my hands, even though it will end up being there.
If I played this deck, I'd probably expect to get about 5 wins. Okay. I don't know.
It was close.
It seems fine, but it's not not unbelievable or anything like that. It's totally fine.
This is going to be bad. I'm going to trophy with it, and I'm just going to run over a bunch of people playing tap lands, and it's going to like poison me. It's going to happen. Yeah, and I'm just going to spend the rest of the format drafting mono red or whatever. All right, we're in the queue for traditional. Yeah, I do need a little something different because that actually has been the problem. I don't actually have a problem with the like how the format kind of plays out as far as being slower. Like I like that area more than, if it's pushed down too low, but it is just a bit, it does get a bit one note after a while. Like there's something about the play pattern of me play a tap land, you play a tap land, me play a tap land, you play a tap land. And then we start playing stuff on 3 that seems to happen kind of every time. That's a little repetitive,
Yeah.
And I think it just kind of affects how you see that. Boy, this could take a minute, Luis. There's not much in the queue here for traditional.
Yeah, I mean,
starting to fill up now.
It is nearer to the end of the format here, though. We are getting an arena open at the end of this month. I believe it's like the 17th or 18th. Or something
we are getting one.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
So
that's great news.
Reason to keep jamming.
Yeah. Usually they've been putting them, up front, right? Like we would have them kind of early in the format.
Well, that's part of why I thought initially that they were maybe doing away with those in favor of the arena directs, but it seems like they're just going to run both, which I'm totally fine with. I was just unhappy when I thought the opens were gone.
Yeah, both is the perfect world because I know I still haven't played in an arena direct. I guess I will. I don't know. I always just see sealed and I always just think like, I'll just, I'm here. I'm kind of here for the opens, that's kind of my vibe, but maybe I'll try those. I know Paul and have you played a bunch of the directs?
I played some, but I don't really want more boxes of Magic cards, to be honest. So
that's also a big downside, I think, for me. Is that the prize is fine. I mean, I know I can sell them, but it I don't know. It feels like a hassle. You know what I mean? Like you have to make sure you get everything and then it comes correctly. And then you have to I don't know, what do you just go on eBay and sell it or find a friend that wants to buy it or whatever? But it's like a kind of a chore, to like for something that you won as a prize, at least, where it should just kind of be, hey, here you go, but I just don't have a lot of use for the paper cards right now.
Just use TCG Player. It's the best online marketplace.
Oh, interesting. Why do you say that? Man, somebody just came back from a from a work trip.
From an on-site.
Yeah, that's great. What color was the Kool-Aid? Or did they?
So one thing that is interesting in formats like this, as the kind of the formats evolve, is to see how much of a reaction people have, and it feels like mostly people are still drafting a lot of the 5-color deck. Honestly, I've been playing more sealed and watching more sealed recently because the Magic Online prelims for the mocks are often sealed. And sealed in this format is just like, you are just running 5-color deck into 5-color deck every single time.
I bet.
There are some opportunities. I mean, if you can find and do a good aggro deck, then these decks can work out well. But obviously, you play against a good 5-color deck, and it's going to be pretty tough regardless.
All right, our queue fired, Luis. Pack one, pick one. We've got Avenger of the Fallen, Sun Pearl Kirin, Constrictor Sage, Yathan Tombsguard, and Iridescent Tiger, as well as Glacial Dragon Hunt. And then of the commons, there's a Dispelling Exhale, there's Dragonstorm Globe, your favorite.
I do like the Dragonstorm Globe. I mean, Avenger of the Fallen solid. I don't really like starting in black that much.
Yeah. I mean, my eyes go to Constrictor Sage, Glacial Dragon Hunt, Dragonstorm Globe as kind of my routine. I know I'm supposed to consider the Sun Pearl Kirin, but...
Yeah, Sun Pearl Kirin's a great card too. We did just draft red white, which makes it like a little bit less appealing. But I will say that Dispelling Exhale is, I think, quite a bit better than Constrictor Sage.
Should I take Dragonstorm Globe?
Yeah, well, I don't think it's.
We have 1 second. So
amazing, but let's do it.
Yeah, we just have to go somewhere. All right, we took Dragonstorm Globe. We got Starry-Eyed Skyrider, Whale of War, Unsparing Boltcaster, Sage of the Fang. That card's been very mediocre. There's a Dragon's Prey, Ice Ridge Serpent. What else? Piercing Exhale. There's a land. It's a Thornwood Falls. Not a lot of strong direction.
Yeah, this pack is quite medium. I might just take Thornwood Falls here. Even if I don't like taking lands that early, all these cards are just so replaceable.
Yeah, there's just nothing that really pushes us in a direction unless we wanted to go aggro, which... Yeah,
Mardu Devotee would be the card to take if you wanted to go that direction. I mean, Kirin into Mardu Devotee looks like a much stronger start here. So
It does.
Just saying.
Yeah. Hey, Julie Dog.
Yeah, she's going at it. Jules...
She's making her opinion known.
Yeah. She's also scratching the pack looking for a better card, which
she hasn't found one yet, has she? That's good. Next pack, Constrictor Sage, Iridescent Tiger. There's a Temur Monument. Oh, there's a Sagu Wildling. Rugged Highlands.
Sagu Wildling's pretty good. Temur Monument's pretty good.
I would lean towards Wildling just because we kind of recklessly first picked Dragonstorm Globe.
Yeah, that's a good use of but yeah, that sounds like a pretty...
I was trying to tell you to tell me to pick something.
The problem was I don't really know. Like Dispelling Exile is also a reasonable pick there, but I like the Globe. I think this is working out okay.
It's a little more fun.
This pack didn't have anything that aggro decks were particularly impressed with, I wouldn't say.
Right. Yeah, I like the Temur Monument a lot. I think it's what I would take normally. But given that we already have the Globe, I do prioritize Dragons, and the Wildling's just good at that role anyway.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Oh no. Fourth pick, Sun Pearl Kirin. There's a Dispelling Exhale here. There's also a Caustic Exile. Hello. Ooh, we could do the patented Luis Scott-Vargas play of Dragonstorm Globe into Caustic Exhale.
I think that's... You also just have the start to a pretty decent like Sultai deck too. Is kind of nice here. So
there's a Salt Road Skirmish in this pack also, which is okay. All right, we'll take the Caustic Exhale. So we've got Dragonstorm Globe, Sagu Wildling, Thorleen Falls, and a Caustic Exhale so far.
Not the most impressive start in the world, but
no, but there's some potential.
I mean, I will say that we have in none of these drafts seen like a rare dragon or anything like that. That would be like, oh, you got to take this. So these are actually kind of interesting drafts to navigate, where you don't have that obvious thing. Well, we're out here getting 5th pick Mardu Monuments, which is one of the best uncommons. So
we'll take it.
Yeah, I mean, it also could end up being fine. I mean, it's not at its best in this kind of deck, but you're taking over Ureni's Rebuff, Salt Road Pack Beast, Roamer's Routine, and like Gurmag Night Watch. None of these cards are impressive. At least Mardu Monument's good.
What do you think about Ureni's Rebuff?
Not a big fan of it. It's okay with the 4/3 Flying Dragon that makes your spells into instants. Like that's a kind of neat combo.
All right,
but
so we'll
generally, I don't think.
Medium, yeah. I'll add Mardu Monument to our pile here. We're coming around. Loxodon Battle Priest again. There's a Keru Goldkeeper, Dirger Island Dragon, worthy cost. There's a Dismal Backwater, Storm Shriek Feral, Sarkhan's Resolve.
Well,
this Goldkeeper's mediocre, right?
Yeah, the Goldkeeper's just fine.
I would just take the
Dirger Island Dragon. I like though.
Yeah,
that one I would take that over to Dismal Backwater here. You already have Saga Wildling and Globe. I don't know that you're going to want to play this Mardu Monument, but we could end up there. So I think the Dirger Dragon looks pretty good to me.
What do we really want to get? I mean, I know the Mythic Dragons and stuff, but
well, that would certainly be a start. Yeah. It would be nice to get.
Next pack has Duty Beyond Death, Riling Dawnbreaker, but there's a Stormplane Detainment. There's also a Riverwalk Technique and a Roamer's Routine, and a Feral Deathgorger, actually.
I like Riverwalk Technique. I'm not that into Scoured Barrens, the Black-White Land. Stormplane Detainment's fine too, but look, even if you end up 5 colors a lot, I still think it's kind of nice to be able to keep to 2 or 3, like this, we're like kind of like Sultai right now. I think that's a good, it's nice to be able to stay Sultai as long as we can. Because yes, even if we end up in all 5 colors, we're going to want to get 5 color fix and we have this Mardu Monument and all that. But staying Sultai just gives us the ability to branch into those colors if we want to, but we not having to start there is really nice.
Pack 1, pick 8, we got an Einok Wayfarer. There's also a second Riverwalk Technique, and the land is Blossoming Sands. But I like the Wayfarer. It's good.
Yeah, Einok Wayfarer is great.
Yeah. So we'll take that. It's also a nice little curve spot for us. We've only got the Mardu Monument at the 2-drop so far, so that'll be a nice addition, especially for an 8th pick. Pack 1, pick 9. Yeah. Wow, Dispelling Exhale. Wow, and the Constrictor Sage and the Thornwood Falls all came back.
Well, we're in the right colors then.
Yeah,
take the Exile for sure. That's not close. And then 3, every good blue card plus a blue-green land all wheeling is really excellent news.
Wow, that's crazy. Okay, I got some hope here. Now it feels like we're in the right seat and the right colors. It's just about what gets opened up. Wow, Mardu Devotee wheeled too. Nothing else really here. I guess we could take a Humbling Elder or a Nightblade Brigade. I wouldn't plan on
Humbling
playing
Elder. You're not going to play either one of these. I might just take the blue card just to cut blue.
Yeah, I'll just put the Elder in the sideboard for now.
I mean, you're kind of just blue-green. Ooh, there's a Rugged Highlands in this pack, along with some mediocre commons. That seems pretty good.
I'll take that. Because right now, we've got Caustic Exile as our only black card. Then we've got Dispelling Exhale, Einok Wayfarer, Mardu Monument, Dragonstorm Globe, Riverwalk Technique, Sagu Wildling, Dirger Island Dragon, Thornwood Falls, Rugged Highlands, and I'm going to pick up a Swiftwater Cliffs here too. So Temur very much a possibility for us as well. We've got 2 dual lands. We just don't have any red cards yet. But we only have the 1 black card to make us, what's it called? So we may just end up being Temur. Wingspan, Stride, and Lightfoot Technique are our last 2 picks, so those aren't going to make the cut. All right, what's next? Pack 2, pick 1. Another Windcrag Siege, Veteran Ice Climber, Purging Stormbrood, Channel Dragonfire, Rainveil Rejuvenator, and then a Riverwheel Sweep for the uncommons. At common, Dragon's Prey, Feral Deathgorger, Undergrowth Leopard, blah, blah, blah. What do you like here? Are you a Purging Stormbrood fan?
No, I really am not.
Okay.
I think the card is playable, but I don't think it's very good. This is a pretty bad pack.
Maybe just the Rejuvenator?
I think you just take... No, I wouldn't take Rejuvenator. I think that card is
what do you like
pretty
here?
Close to unplayable. I would just take Dragon's Prey. You've already got Caustic Exile. You're going to play black. You've got Saga Wilding and Dragonstorm Grove. I think Sultai is an easy on-ramp, and a second removal spell is pretty nice to pick up.
Man, what did the Rejuvenator do to you?
Mostly be ineffective. That's what it did.
Pack 2, pick 2. Constrictor Sage, Gurmag Rakshasa. There's another Durgar Island Dragon. Abzan Devotee. There's a Molten Exhale. We have access to 2 red duels already. I think we just take the Exhale here.
4 color, no white. Let's go. It actually is relevant to not play a color too. Like being 4 colors and not playing white. Like sometimes you just cross the bridge and you're just full 5 and that's fine. But not playing one of the colors can be pretty good.
Man, 4 color, no white. That's right where I want to be here. So we'll pick up Molten Exhale to go with our Caustic and Dispelling Exhales.
Yeah, I mean, Mono Exiles is good. Exiles
it really
are great.
is. Yeah. That's our first red card. All right, pack 2, pick 3. Auroral Procession, Temur Monument. That could be a thing. What else? Unending Whisper. Temur Tawny back. There's a Stormplane Detainment, but we're kind of trying not to do that. There's Dismal Backwater. I would just take the Temur Monument. What do you like?
Yeah, I'm in a Temur Monument. I like the Auroral Procession, but I think that this will be your basically first monument because you're not looking that likely to play Mardu, though you might. And the first monument I think is worth a good amount, especially Dismal Backwater is also a fine pick, but I think I would take the monument here.
You think we'll wheel the Procession? Or pack 2, pick 3?
It's definitely possible. I don't think that's that unlikely.
Yeah. All right. So we'll take Temur Monument. Pack 2, pick 4. Codis the Fangkeeper. Kishla Trawlers. Iridescent Tiger. What else here? Jungle Hollow.
There's a Jungle Hollow, which is great. Kishla Trawlers is actually looking pretty nice in this deck. You have a bunch of Exhales and a Dragon's Prey. Like those are all pretty good.
Okay. Yeah, we'll take the Trawlers. That card's fine. How many creatures do we have? 3 currently, but that will change.
Yeah, you'll get some more creatures.
Okay, let's see what we get. Pack 2, pick 5. Glacierwood Siege. Roiling Dragonstorm. Synchronized Charge here as well. So we just take the Dragonstorm?
I mean, Glacierwood Siege.
We can mill them out.
Pretty nice, but
is that this one? Yeah,
you should. Yeah, it's the Mill Siege. I'm just looking. I'm just trying to see. You do have a good setup for either. I think you should probably take the Dragonstorm. You could take Glacierwood Siege. Just take the Siege. Actually, take the Siege. Take the Siege. This is late enough in the format. You want to draft a Glacierwood Siege deck. I'm trying to keep in mind you're having to play with this deck as well. So, and look, now you can take another Kishla Trawlers here.
Dude, I've milled out a lot of people with that Siege. Like late stage,
it's good.
Tarkir Dragonstorm mill cards are good.
I mean, if you're playing the 5-color mirror and your opponent plays a Siege on turn 3, unless you have like the Disenchant Dragon or something, you're just ready to pack it up then. Like
totally.
You're not going to win.
Totally. And we have a lot
right
of
now you've
instants and sorceries too.
Yeah, so you have all 3 Exhales, you have Dragon's Prey, but you also, not reflected in the stats, have in Riverwalk Technique, but you also have Durgar Island Dragon and Saga Wildling, which are both spells. Now you take Uneasy Unending Whisper here.
Yep.
And you're trying to be as close to base blue-green. It would be really awesome if we wield the Auroral Procession. That's a really nice one with the Siege.
Oh, yeah, to pick it back up in case they happen to have that one.
If you get 2 of them, you can actually loop them. You can just cast one and then cast on the other over and over again.
Let's do it.
And you're paying 2 mana to mill them for 4. So, yeah, I think that's pretty great.
Weird.
Oh, Enoch Wayfarer wheel?
Pick 8. We got another Wayfarer. Now we really, really want to wheel that Procession because we have 2 Wayfarers. Like, mill it, bring it back.
Double Wayfarer. Wayfarer is the perfect card to set up these Kishla Trawlers too, because it not only mills you, it's also a creature. So you get to kind of get the best of all worlds there.
No Procession. Although, was that the next pick? I don't remember now. At any rate, we did get a veteran Ice Climber and an Undergrowth Leopard. Can we Climber?
I think I would just take the Ice Climber, the little mill theme.
Mill plant.
It's an okay little cheap drop. I think the Leopard's also fine, but I think I would take the Ice Climber.
Yeah, we're going full mill. Never.
Or actually, no. Take the blue. I was going to say, I forgot. There's a Bloodfell Caves. That's probably what we actually wanted.
Oh, really?
But it's okay.
I feel like
you're going to be blue, green, splash, black, red.
Okay, you were saying that you wanted us to be closer to what's it called, but that's fine too. I'll just take Constrictor Sage over Teamer Devotee, I guess. I think there's another Teamer.
You don't need Teamer Devotee much here. Oh, another Unending Whisper. I would take that.
You mean another
There's a Teamer
mill
Tawny back.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, but I think the second Whisper is also really nice.
I do
Wayfarers and Ice Climber milling your Whispers are also pretty cool.
Yeah. And then pack 2, pick 12.
And here there's a Snowmelt Stag you could just take just to cut blue cards. You're not going to play that card, though.
Yeah, I'm going to put it in the sideboard. Okay, so we've got 2 Unending Whisper. Do we get anything? Oh, we got a Ducia Earth Carver, which can be a thing.
Yeah, you're not going to play that card either.
Okay, I'll put it in sideboard. 2 Unending Whisper, 1 Caustic Exhale, a Dispelling Exhale, Veteran Ice Climber, Molten Exhale, 2 Einok Wayfarer. I'm going to put the Mardu Monument in the board for now. Teamer Monument, Kishla Trawlers ×2, Dragon's Prey, Glacierwood Siege, the Goat, Dragonstorm Globe, Riverwalk Technique, Constrictor Sage, Sagu Wildling, Durgar Island Dragon, and then a Swiftwater Cliffs, Rugged Highlands, and Thornwood Falls. Pack 3, pick 1. Sage of the Skies. Oh, man. Carsey Revenant, Descendant of Storms, Rennie's Rebuff, War Effort, and a Formation Breaker at Uncommon.
Well...
Can we actually cast this?
You ready to take this Rennie's Rebuff? And it's a really good card when you're Glacierwood Sieging.
Yeah, it is. Okay, sure. I mean, we can't cast the Revenant enough, right?
No, you're not casting the Revenant.
Okay.
A second Siege would be like the perfect card to pick up,
It would be, yeah. We opened, let's see, a Mythic Paranation. Does that work for us? It has white.
No, I don't think so. It's a bunch of colors that you're not.
Yeah. Mammoth.
Not even that good.
Mammoth Bellow, Snakeskin Veil, which only protects creatures. There is a Thornwood Falls. I mean, Mammoth Bellow's fine. Yeah, Thornwood Falls.
I would definitely take Thornwood Falls.
Yeah. That's our second one, and we are base green-blue. Oh, this
I mean, it is possible that this deck ends up not splashing that much. Though I think you're still going to want to splash the removal because there are a bunch of spells for your Glacierwood Siege.
Yeah, totally.
Oh, speaking of spells, this pack has Constrictor Sage, Mammoth Bellow, Teamer Monument, all solid. Mm-hmm. It has Rakshasa's Bargain. That's what I'm looking for because that makes it more likely that you find your Glacierwood Siege, as well as Riverwalk Technique, Dragon's Prey, Evolving Wilds, and Swiftwater Cliffs. So there's
we are wheeling something.
There's literally eight cards in this pack that you want to play. So unless nobody takes Bearer of Glory, Nightblade Brigade, Wild Ride, or Sultai Devotee, you'll wheel something.
Crazy. Yeah. Mammoth Bellow is actually probably pretty good in this deck too, just because it's a creature that's also a spell. And it has Harmonize too. All right. So Rakshasa's Bargain. Oh boy.
Yeah, I love it.
Let's go. Oh, there's an Oral Procession here. Is it up against anything? Oh, there's a Sultai Monument.
There's a Sultai Monument, which I think...
man, that's going to be hard to pass.
I think you're probably going to want that, because the thing is, you do have the 2 Kishla Trawlers, so the Procession, though actually, no, you know what? I think I would just take the Procession.
You think so?
I kind of feel like you've got a bunch of self-mill, and if you mill the Siege, getting it back is pretty nice. You also already have Teamer Monument, and I think you have decent fixing, so that Saga Wildling, the Globe...
Also the Mirror Breaker.
Procession is really nice in a deck with 2 Wayfarers.
Okay, we got Stillness in Motion. That's the one that mills me, right? And then Essence Anchor. Tempest Talk. There's another Dispelling Exhale, though. Exhale, yeah, that looks good.
That's just a great early play.
What a deck.
It's going somewhere.
All I need to do is mill or find my Glacierwood Siege every game.
I think this deck will be very good when it draws Glacierwood Siege.
I think so too.
And the Auroral Procession helps find it. Look, another Durgar Island Dragon is perfect.
Yeah, that's nice.
The card is awesome.
You mean the Instant Omen Skimming Strike?
Mm-hmm. That's exactly what I mean.
What percentage of the time do you think I'll cast it as that versus the dragon itself?
90-10 skimming strike or something.
Oh man, that's heavy.
You're just not really casting the dragon that often.
No, not that often.
Oh,
Wingblade
look at this.
Disciple.
Pack 3, pick 7. There's a Wingblade Disciple. When you play your second spell, make a 1 on flyer. Perfect. Passing on Channel Dragonfire and Sagu Pummeler.
Man, we are so well set up for this with like the 2 Unending Whispers and all the cheap stuff. Oh man,
it's gonna be good. It gives you a lot of
really nice
little blockers.
Yeah, that's a nice pickup.
And a 38th picked Siege. Anyone?
Yeah, anyone? Pack 3, pick 8. No, there's an Aegis Sculptor. Quarry Mountain Stalwart. There is an Undergrowth Leopard. I wonder if we want that.
Yeah, probably. I don't think you're like that likely to play it, but
do you like the Sculptor?
Thing to pick up. Nah, the only time I ever play Aegis Sculptor is if I have like pretty heavy token themes, or I have things that key off removing from the graveyard, and sometimes it does enough of both. This pack has a Ringing Strike Mastery, which is not a 0 in this kind of deck.
Yeah, I'll take it. I hope to not play it, but I'll take it. Wow, Zergo's Vanguard, Pack 3, pick 10. So the next one is that Super Wheel pack, right? I think it's the next pack.
I believe so.
Let's see what we get. What do we get? Yeah, Constrictor Sage, Riverwalk Technique, and Swiftwater Cliffs all came back.
Well, not the Sage. The other two, you kind of have to see how many playables you have. Because if you have plenty of playables, the land's going to be better. But the Riverwalk Technique is going to be very very good.
It's because turn 3 Siege into turn 4 keep up Riverwalk Technique forever is my new game plan. All right, couple of cards left in the pack, but they're not good. Nothing of note here. Okay, so let's take a look at what our deck actually looks like here. Oh man, this is a good sweet one.
Oh yeah, this one looks awesome. You've got like ton of removal.
Yeah, getting our mana might be a little
not as much card draw actually as I would like, but plenty of removal. And this is going to be pretty feast or famine based on drawing Glacierwood Siege, but a bunch of ways to mill it and the way to regrowth it. You also have Rakshasa's Bargain. Like I feel like you've got a pretty good amount of ways to like go and look for this thing.
We have currently 44 cards, but 12 of them are instants and or sorceries. So we've got Ringing Strike Mastery, which I think gets cut, 2 Unending Whisper and a Caustic Exhale, 2 Dispelling Exhale and a Rennie's Rebuff. There's the Ice Climber, Molten Exhale, 2 Einok Wayfarer, an Undergrowth Leopard. That might be a tough one to keep in there. An Auroral Procession and a Temur Monument. Then there's 2 Kishla Trawlers, the Wingblade Disciple. That was a clutch pickup. Dragon's Prey, the Goat, Glacierwood Siege, Rakshasa's Bargain, and a Dragonstorm Globe. There's 2 Riverwalk Technique currently, a Constrictor Sage, a Sagu Wildling, and 2 Dirger Island Dragon. And then we have, for duels, we've got a Swiftwater Cliffs, a Rugged Highlands, and 2 Thornwood Falls. 3 cuts to make. Is there anything obvious to you there?
I think that the Ice Climber looks like you can definitely just cut it.
Yeah. What about the Undergrowth Leopard?
I'm just trying to cut like random creatures. And you could probably cut a land because you have Temur Monument, Double Wayfarer, Sagu Wildling, and 2 Unending Whispers. So it's like you have a pretty good amount of that stuff, I feel like.
Okay, maybe I could cut a Swamp.
Yeah, I think that's likely.
Do I need to have a mountain? Right? It's Temur Monument searchable?
Yeah. Temur Monument.
Okay, I'm a little worried about green. Like I want to make sure I can cast these Wayfarers and the Wildlings.
Yeah, you probably want to cut down on. You can probably get away with like one swamp, two little, maybe 2 swamps. Maybe you only have 2 black cards.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. And then we have the cliffs. We do have the 2 Thornwood Falls, so that gives us the 6. But it's still just I want one more green source. I think maybe I could go. This is 16 lands.
This is 7 green sources plus Globe and Temur Monument.
Oh, it's 7 green sources. You're right. Okay, so that's actually okay, I think.
You could probably cut a blue for another green because your green finds blue a decent amount of the time.
Yeah. Okay, there it is.
I think this deck, it's funny. We drafted 2 decks with very, very few high rarity cards. Like that's
true.
They both have exactly 1 rare, and it's a Siege.
And it's a Siege.
and not even like, sieges are not like premier rares of any sort. But I do think that if this deck draws Glacierwood Siege, it's going to beat the mirror almost every time.
I think so too. So this is the deck. 2 Unending Whisper and a Caustic Exhale at 1. At 2, we've got 2 Dispelling Exhale, a Molten Exhale, an Areni's Rebuff, 2 Einok Wayfarer, the critical Auroral Procession to buy back our Glacierwood Siege when we mill it or it gets destroyed, the Temur Monument, and then at the 3s, we've got 2 Kishla Trawlers, a Wingblade Disciple, a Dragon's Prey, the Glacierwood Siege itself, the Rakshasa's Bargain, and the Dragonstorm Globe. And then at 4, we have 2 Riverwalk Technique, again, just to protect the sieges. We have 2 5s, Constrictor Sage and Sagu Wildling, and then we have 2 6s, but as Louis said, we're going to be casting them as 2 drops the majority of the time, which is Durgar Island Dragon. And then our lands ended up being 16 lands, 4 islands, 5 forests, 2 swamp, 1 mountain, Swiftwater Cliffs, Rugged Highlands, and 2 Thornwood Falls. 2 extraordinarily different takes on the format, to say the least.
Yeah, I think that's cool, though.
That's really cool. It is. These are the only 2 takes you can do, right? Like nonsense or just stripped down.
This isn't really 5-color dragons. Like one of the strengths of this deck is that it's kind of going to present like it's 5-color dragons, but it is not really 5-color dragons.
That's true. That's true.
This is the Glacierwood mill deck, more than anything else.
Yeah, and that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be milling people out with this thing. All right, let's call it a show there, Luis. That was fun. I'll let you know how these decks end up doing. Hopefully well. If you want to find us on social media, I'm Marshall_LR and Luis is LSV pretty much everywhere. If you want to find out anything about the show, you can find it at lrcast.com. I want to say thank you to our sponsor, Ultimate Guard, as well as to everybody who supports us on Patreon. It means a lot to us, and thank you for that. All right, that's going to do it for this episode of LR, but we'll be back next week with more. We'll see you then.
So we're drafting a couple different cubes these days, and I kind of wanted to give you the pros and cons of each one because it's kind of interesting. So first of all, there's just the LSV cube, which is just my vintage cube that is... It doesn't play Time Vault. It doesn't play Demonic Consultation. It doesn't have the initiative cards, so it's got a lot of the powerful vintage cube stuff you're used to, right? It's got all the power. It's got the Reanimator deck. It's got Artifacts, Academy, all that stuff. There's just like a lot of the normal archetypes that you would recognize. And this is probably the most similar to like the Magic Online cube. Okay. Like when the Magic Online cube goes up, it's the main difference being that I think mine has better cards. So like the card choices, I think, are a little better. They have some weird cards in there always that I'm not, the biggest fan of. But
this is like a tweaked version of that, though.
Yeah, I would say so. And I like where it's at. And that one's constantly getting changed and all that. So that one's probably the cube that the 2 cubes I play most are that, and then the Power Mac cube, which is my friend Mac. He made that cube, and that cube is like full power of everything. It's got initiative. It's got the Time Vault. It's got Demonic Consultation. It's quite a strong cube, and that one can be really fun too because you're playing like all the best cards and all the best strategies. You get to go just again full power, and that part I think is really really neat. That is like another cube we play all the time. The third cube is the Retro Cube, and that's the cube that I talked about on the show a couple months ago, where it's like all the, like, basically applying current cube kind of heuristics to a cube where the most recent card is from like around 2018. So that cube ends up, I think, being a ton of fun, and it is it's a welcome change of pace in a lot of ways because you end up, when you're playing the Retro Cube, the games are longer, the cards are less powerful, they end the game, a lot less frequently, right? Like you're not talking about an unchecked initiative creature or even something like Lelia, right? These cards that are just really strong and
snowball-y.
Currently, if you don't deal with them very quickly, you lose. That's like the biggest gameplay difference that I've found of all these cubes is in Power Mac or LSV Cube or Moto Cube, the average 3 to 4 mana play is just incredibly good. We're talking cards, like I said, Lelia, or 2 mana play, Inti, Magda, Adeline, Minsc and Boo. Like, Emperor of Bones, like a lot of these cards that if like you don't answer them, you're very clearly going to lose, and it kind of compresses the time frame of the games a bit. The Retro Cube is pretty different. Like it doesn't, the spells are just about as good. It still has obviously all the power, but even stuff like Memory Lapse, Mana Drain, Swords to Plowshares, like Dismember, all the best Thoughtseize, all the best spells are still about the same. The difference is the Retro Cube threats are really bad in comparison, like really bad. And that can be really charming. It can be really fun to play a game where they resolve a 4-drop and you don't immediately lose to it, or a game that lasts a really long time, or a game where it's like, oh, I really have to save this removal spell for this one card in their deck that I'm going to have a hard time with otherwise. And so that part can be pretty fun. I think the biggest, to the pros and cons, the biggest downside of Retro Cube is there's matchups that are just, like sometimes you play like a control deck against a storm deck that has good, like a couple discard spells, and the control deck is like 0% to win. Not 0%, but like 10% to win. And that's not the same as kind of in the current cubes. The matchups are almost never that extreme.
Right.
And then sometimes in the Retro Cube, the cards are weak enough, or the games take long enough that like you kind of wish like the games were going a little bit faster, or like a little bit more was happening. The thing I like about Power Mac Cube, it can be really fun. Like Time Vault can lead to bad games, but it also can lead to really fun games. Like it can be very fun to combo off with that, or Demonic Consultation, and Initiative can lead to these really wild, really fast-paced games. I think that part is cool too. I think it's cool to be able to play these kinds of games. Like there's room. I like having room for that as well. The biggest downside is like some of these games kind of feel like nonsense. Like you're playing and it's like, oh, okay, they time vaulted me, or oh, okay, they went, mock City of Traders Initiative creature. This sucks, and that's just something you kind of have to deal with. And I think that overall, like if I were to do 100 cubes, and I will because I do a lot of cubes, it's probably like 20 retro, 40 Power Mac, 40 of my cube, and none of the Moto cubes. I don't find the Moto cubes to be that enthralling, honestly. But that's kind of where I'm at with all these different cubes. They can be a lot of fun for sure.
Where can people find the lists?
So the Magic Online Cube, you can find, they usually put an article out with the changes and all that. Mm-hmm. If you look at the description for any of my YouTube videos, it'll often have links to them. But if you go to Cube Cobra, LSV Cube and LSV Retro and Power Mac are the like cube IDs for those cubes.
Okay.
And yeah, I mean, I haven't messed around with building more themed cubes, like, how like they run like the Grixis cube and stuff like that. But I haven't loved those that much. So maybe there's something there. I mean, there's no reason not to try it, right? But I think that the range of these 3 cubes has pretty much done a good job of keeping me entertained with all these different cubes, and I haven't felt the need to do anything too wacky about that.